Wow. Welcome here to another edition of Husker Online Postgame Live. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett drinking some victorious Zipline beers here. Zipline, the official postgame beverage sponsor of Husker Online Postgame Live. Hopefully you enjoyed this beautiful November day with several zip lines, and you're sitting back at home right now after a great day in Lincoln or wherever you watch the game, and have a few more zip lines with us as we recap this, guys, because Nebraska is going bowling for the first time since 2016. And I'm not going to lie, being down there at the end sip, I didn't know what my feelings were going to be because I just didn't expect them to win because they haven't won a game like this in so long. But the emotions of the last 8 years really hit you, just thinking about this fan base, thinking about all the people that have lost their jobs, all the heartbreak players have experienced.
Yep.
Seeing that place full for this game still at that level, and it was full. I mean, it was a healthy student section crowd.
Yeah.
And to see the moment of Nebraska make it look like what it's supposed, they didn't fool their way into this win. I mean,
they hammered it out.
This was a November progress win where Nebraska hammered a team that has owned them since they've joined the Big Ten Conference. Nebraska had beaten Wisconsin one time since 2011. And they not only beat them today, they hammered them. And it felt pretty good to a lot of people.
It did. And you're right. It was progress. But the conversation is much more than that. And that's what you're getting at. It's not just that it was progress. It changed the entire conversation.
Mm-hmm.
A conversation that was getting uncomfortable, frankly, that Nebraska hadn't been to a bowl game since 2016. Actually, it changed two conversations. Because not nearly as it was pretty awkward, actually, the Wisconsin conversation, losing 10 straight to Wisconsin. Ending that was important too. Really important day. Guys, Robin, it really hit me, Sean, when Nebraska players were right in front of us hoisting the Freedom Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
They've never gotten it before.
It's been a long time since I've seen Nebraska players hoisting a trophy. You just don't see it very often anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And there they were. It was beautiful for them. And like Sean, I feel good mostly for the players. I mean, they've been those seniors, the veteran players, not just the seniors, the veteran players have been through a lot.
Yeah, guys like Ty Robinson, who've been here 6 years at Nebraska, and really had no reward of this level to speak of for all the work that they put in, whether it was their fault or whatever. You could just kind of feel that kind of boiling over a little bit today where they finally did it. That monkey is off their back now. One of the most embarrassing clouds hovering over this program is now evaporated. They are going to a bowl.
We don't have to talk about it anymore.
And as Matt Rule said, this is the exact same trajectory that he was at Temple, at Baylor, where you have a rough year one, go to a bowl year two, and then all of a sudden things really get going. Well, we'll see what that month of bowl practices and that postseason experience and just this lift of finally cracking through that ceiling could do for this program going forward.
In that picture post-game, even as we walked in the media room, you had Matt Rule trailed by Governor Jim Pillen, trailed by Athletic Director Troy Dannon and President Dr. Jeffrey Gold, just to see the smiles on all their faces. I mean, they've obviously there's a lot coming here for Nebraska with the stadium project and with what they've invested into this football program, what they've invested into Matt Rule, and they needed this one. You did not want to go out to Iowa on a short week in frigid November night weather and have to beat Iowa in Iowa City.
Really hard. Now
you go out there with Dana Holgerson running this offense, who, by the way, grew up 30 minutes from Iowa City.
Yep.
And they can play free. What the hell? Turn it loose.
Yeah, good point, Sean. And the offense now, it was a resounding victory. They won, what was the final?
44-25.
Yeah, they hammered it home. Didn't back into anything. They got 473 yards?
473.
Gave up 400 plus, though.
Yep.
So it was resounding. There's the defense is kind of confounding. I think it's the last three games, really. They were so good at Ohio State, and then they haven't been very good the last three games. Braden Locke, I'm not going too far down this road. Don't worry. Braden Locke looked a little too comfortable, but here's the thing. Iowa doesn't have Braden Locke. They don't have that. They don't have the They don't even have the receivers that Wisconsin has. Will Pauling was out, by the way. So it's a different kind of game. The matchup's better. It's a better matchup against Iowa. So, turn it loose and see what happens. And think about what getting wins against Wisconsin and Iowa would mean. One last thing. Rule said it. He was kind of glad this happened against Wisconsin. That's meaningful.
There is meaning to that.
Meaningful.
It's a trophy game.
They kicked their butt.
They did.
Beautiful. We've been to a lot of these games together. We've been to all of them together, and there's not been one like this. It's usually Nebraska getting beat like this.
Or it's close. It's close, or this wasn't close, really. Wisconsin started to threaten a little bit in the second half, but not too much. Time was running too fast.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see just what that picture looks like of a Nebraska team going into a Black Friday Iowa game without their season on the line.
Yeah.
Like that
Like
freedom
Sean said,
you talked about.
Yeah.
What can that do for a team?
Yeah.
It's been so long since Nebraska has not had to worry about, is this our final game? We have to win this or our season is over. Like just that mental barrier being gone now. I'm just very curious to see how this team plays, and if the progress and flashes they showed today, especially on offense, if that just gets expedited tenfold. Some specials.
Yeah,
their coverage was
kickoff coverage.
Yeah, they had some issues.
Guys, Nebraska played a great. Like one or two small moments. Robin, they made 3 of 3 field goals.
Overall, it was really good.
Buschini put a punt to the 3. Hull was 3 for 3. Vince Genatone tackles a guy to the 19. Gardner Nelson makes a big special teams tackle. Teams are, when you score as many points as Nebraska scored, there's going to be a lot of kickoff opportunities.
Yeah.
Between the field goals and the touchdowns.
They gave up 26 yards on 5 kickoff returns. That's probably the only blemish.
26 yards on 5 kickoff returns.
That's not
average.
Average.
They gave up 129 kickoff yards.
That's not, but
on 5 returns.
But the markers,
Sean, they gave up a 44-yarder.
That's not okay. But if you're pissed about that, Robin, you got problems. Like if that
Sean,
44 yards,
saying like you're acting like it was this like flawless game. It was good.
It was their best special teams game in a long time.
Yeah, it was good.
Look, Wisconsin's gonna. Teams when you kick it off 8 or 9 times like Nebraska did, they're gonna get one that's 40 yards. And the wind was strong enough where you couldn't put it through the south end zone. But I'm not gonna criticize a 40. A 40. Big deal. Like it wasn't.
You guys are really running with this. I said,
no, it's fine. I'm okay. It was leaky, but it was leaky. But by and large, special teams were very good. Hull has made now 8 straight
8 in
field
a row,
goals.
Going back to Ohio State.
8 straight. And he drills them, by the way.
He's the guy.
No question.
Buschini.
He's been excellent.
Yeah. It's so good to hear that boom in the stadium. People saying boom. So yeah, it was, well, what Matt Rule said was that's the most complete they've played this year. That was the most complete game they've played, right?
No question. The offense had
Our
8.
Defense was shaky.
The offense, but here's the key with the defense. Early on, they won the situational rundowns. The 4th and 1,
they're
the
good
3rd and 1s.
Yeah.
The ones that mattered. When you're going to score as much as Nebraska scored, if you win 2 or 3 of those big situational downs, and Wisconsin only had 2 runs of 10 plus yards the whole game. 2 runs.
And what were they on 3rd down? Not good. 3 for 12.
Wisconsin was 3 of 10.
3 of 10.
And they only averaged 3.4 yards per first down run.
Okay.
So you had Wisconsin in 2nd and 7 a lot in this game. In fact, about 14 of those type situations. So I thought Nebraska, Bly Hill got burnt on a big play, and that really skews the stats. But I'm glad Bly Hill got to play, because I think that's going to be big over the next few weeks.
It's good for Bly Hill to get in a game with that much pressure and to have to perform. Yeah, corners get beat sometimes, and he got beat bad on that play. But they're working through some issues in the secondary, guys.
They are.
It's always, the conversation's always evolving, even at the late stages of the season with pretty much every team. And that conversation evolved in an interesting direction. There's other conversations that are evolving in interesting directions. Notice what's happening at tight end. There's kind of a move to Borkercher a little bit. Borkercher was excellent.
And
today.
Lindenmeyer.
Fedoni was hardly even a factor.
And it's blocking. I think if we're all being real, what's going on there, the blocking wasn't up to snub, and he put the 2 better blockers in and ran with those guys.
I've always felt Borkercher was a good receiver, though. I've long thought that.
He looked good on that 20-yard catch and run down the sideline.
He always, he looks good.
The operation though, the perimeter blocking was the best we'd seen all year.
Yeah. I mean, there's again conversations that are evolving. Emmett Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Emmett Johnson is a tribute to Corey Campbell, in my opinion, because Corey Campbell is strength coach. Because he looks stronger now in game 10. What was it? 11. Game 11 than he has at times in previous games.
Mm-hmm.
His legs looked great. Same with Dante Dowdell. Nebraska doesn't have a lot of injuries. You don't see trainers going out on the field. I give a big shout out to Corey Campbell. This team is well conditioned. They don't lose games because they're not well conditioned.
Well, and their nutrition plan too plays a factor in that. I mean,
100.
You don't cramp up and.
The overall plan I think is great. Rule has always emphasized recovery. He's talked about. I've never heard a coach talk about recovery more than Rule.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the facility to treat the athletes, and I think it's paying off. I really do. Emmett Johnson, his legs look so live to me today in game 11.
Well, think about it. Two things that you pointed to about changing conversations: improved perimeter blocking and running backs making plays.
They made holes
running through tackles, running through holes, breaking tackles, making the first guy miss. Like those are things that were not happening until 2 games ago?
You're seeing holes.
Now all of a sudden, guys like Jamal Banks are blocking the best they have all season.
Well, in the window
Emmett
dressing,
Johnson's running the hardest he's run all season.
The window
What's the
dressing
difference?
of the offense with the motions and the movements, I think that also helps these runs. I think when you have 2 or 3 things moving at once, all of a sudden the defense for Wisconsin looked crossed up, and then Emmett Johnson has them off balance.
I think they run some counters, and the other thing is that this is what happens with offensive lines. They're the last one we mentioned, but they're the last 2 games they've been excellent.
Ben Scott on that one screen, we were seeing, like he got downfield and found somebody.
Yeah, Donovan Raiola's group is playing well right now.
All right, well,
I'll be darned.
we have 58 super chats. How about that? People want to talk about this one. Before we get into the super chats, again, we're brought to you by our official post-game beverage sponsor, Zipline. Hopefully you are sitting back looking up bowl trip options and everything and having a few zip lines, wondering where we might go. And also, we're brought to you by Public Rec. If you are not familiar with Public Rec, it is a premium apparel company, athletic leisure wear. They have polo shirts, long sleeve shirts, T-shirts, workout apparel, pants, golf pants, you name it. And this is high level, comfortable gear. You want to check out Public Rec at their website. Go to publicrec.com/Husker, and we're going to give you 20% off your order to Public Rec if you give them a try. Again, that's publicrec.com/Husker. We got some of their gear. It's outstanding stuff. Give it a try. Check it out at publicrec.com/Husker. Okay, let's dive into the chats. Scott's Tots. I mean, in some of these chats, by the way, we're coming in like in the 4th quarter. So people are pretty fired up to get in.
Peace be upon Holgerson.
Monkey's gone. Peace be upon Holgerson. Love the formation with Emmett Johnson and Dante Dowdell in the backfield together. Definitely buying bowl tickets to whoever it is. And I think that's a great point.
There it is.
Nebraska might be the most attractive 6-win bowl team in history.
Holgerson doesn't hurt that either. You get that storyline. You get Rule and Holgerson.
Imagine if they beat Iowa. And imagine if they slip up to or fall up to Tampa, or a good one.
I'm imagining it.
And imagine 30,000 plus Husker fans going to that game, because that's what's going to happen.
There would be.
Peace upon Holgerson. Dana Holgerson. So what you're seeing is some more slants, like Sean said, a little more window dressing. You're seeing some personnel shifts, just some little different use of personnel. You're seeing the ball get out of Dylan's hand quicker. Just the picture's better. The pictures today was much better than we've seen in a long time, right?
No question.
Well, and I think a lot of it too is the passing game and the running game are both improved, and I think it needs to be talked about more. The play of that offensive line. They didn't allow a single sack, a single tackle for loss, and 1 quarterback pressure, according to the official stats.
1 quarterback pressure.
Over 72 offensive snaps, 74 offensive plays.
And balance too, Rob.
It's amazing how much more comfortable a quarterback can look when he has 1 quarterback hurry and 0 sacks.
Well, and it helps too when the ground game's working. It takes a lot of, I've said it all along, Takes a lot of
Dylan
pressure.
didn't have to do it all, and look at his numbers as a result of it.
Right. So, yeah. Holgerson, Rule didn't say much about him in the post-game press conference, probably because this is a game for the veterans.
Yeah, it's about the players.
It's about the players. Especially the veterans. But Holgerson's impact today, I would call it profound.
Yeah.
We got two more Holgerson comments here. RJ Bacani, I want to go to this comment first. Give Holgerson whatever he wants. Then Daryl John with a comment as well. Hiring Holgerson in the bye week changed the trajectory of the program. Credit to Rule for having the urgency in fixing his mistake. I can't wait for Rule to recruit more and have more to sell. Go Big Red. And I think that's a great point. December 4th is signing day. Guess who is out there still? Michael Terry, Cortez Mills, Chase Lofton. December 9th is the transfer portal. You're going to go after some more players. And if you can beat Iowa and look good on offense again, you've got a hell of a product to take on the road.
Okay, but here's the question, Sean. Are they going to be able to tell these players that Holgerson's going to be here or not?
I would think so. Where's he going to go? He's getting paid no matter what.
He could go a lot. He could go a lot of places.
Well, okay, but he's got Raiola. Raiola's the difference. Like, I think this job was attractive to him to have the ability to work with a quarterback like Raiola.
I hope you're right.
Because he's got an elite.
But doesn't that have to be decided pretty soon?
Yeah, I mean, he's here. Like, why would he just? I mean, what would, unless something like behind the scenes happened? But
what would notice he didn't commit to Nebraska?
No, he said he didn't know what was happening in December,
right, or January.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they got to see, but he's going to get $4.5 million next year, no matter what, and whatever Nebraska or whoever pays him is deducted from that bill.
It's got to happen pretty quick, though, to sell it to people.
Well, yeah, the recruiting aspect of it and the portal aspect of it. Like,
that's where the urgency is. It's got to be there. You can't sell. Oh, yeah, you know what? Holgerson might be here. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just wonder how that. Sean, I'm just interested in the dynamic.
He'll get $800,000 next year, no matter where he goes. So it's not a deal like you have to back up the truck because he's getting 4.5.
I know.
So it's about where can he be to have the best chance with the best quarterback to help him get back to where he wants to be.
Today helped. Yeah. Today helped because it if he had any doubts, he saw Dylan today, and Dylan looked as good as he has
maybe
early in the season.
Maybe all season. He was whipping the ball around.
Yep. It looked like Dylan again.
Did.
All right, Husker Dan 859. Back the brick ships. Another Holgerson comment.
Oh boy.
All right. Again, we hit on that with the money situation. Strax Pax Butler better be on the same shuttle out of town with Foley, McGuire, Barthel next week. Look,
Butler. John Butler. There's
the
Jamari
secondary coach.
Butler and
the second.
You talk about John Butler.
Yeah, Coach Butler. I mean, they've had some tough situations there. Like, he didn't recruit Malcolm Hartzug. He didn't recruit Bly Hill. Like, they're working through some situations.
Yeah, he got here in August,
and he was given a pretty tough hand of cards.
I remember because I was hanging a shower curtain on the
little TMI
on the. That is not TMI. It's a shower curtain, Sean. On the 4th of July, I think it was.
Okay, so early July.
Yeah,
not July.
Rule of the day. As I wrote this morning, Husker Bowl over the Badgers. All right. Thank you for those comments. Let's go to Ivan. Imagine if we had a competent OC all year, what our team would have looked like. Go Big Red. I hope we are able to keep him next year. And, they didn't lose the UCLA game, it would have helped to have more early offense, but the defense couldn't get off the field against UCLA.
Right. And here's the thing. Holgerson is more than competent. This is a guy who was an offensive coordinator for 6 years, and all 6 years had top 10 offenses. I think we're seeing what an exceptional play caller can do, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a Lincoln Riley. I'm not saying he's as good as Lincoln Riley or, whatever. I'm not trying to evaluate him that way. But when Lincoln Riley's calling plays, there's an ace play caller. Mm-hmm. When Dana Holgerson's calling plays, it's different now.
And he got hot.
Oh, he found a rhythm. He did. And he's something else now. I mean,
yeah, and it's not like
he's in here and does this already.
Yeah, it's not like he's just like completely opening up his entire bag and throwing everything out there. Like, the word every player that talks about his offense is using is simplified. They understand it. They comprehend they know what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. They know their roles, and it's plays that they're just attacking the weaknesses of the defense. You saw in that little swing past where they did the slant clear out and hit Emmett Johnson for the big gain that set up the touchdown. Like, that's a pretty fundamental play in the air raid, but it's just everybody knew what they were supposed to do. And they basically forced Wisconsin to have to react. They didn't, and they exploited it. Simple offense that can be more effective than trying to do too much the way that I think at times Nebraska had been.
How many times did you guys sit up there and watch the offense and say, that made sense?
Mm-hmm.
That made sense. Okay,
don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Well, and they even made like the fade routes look better.
Yeah.
Your favorite routes.
Hate them.
You hate them, but they work.
Fade routes. But yeah, they
I mean, the design of them look
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Chris Diaz. It's my wife's grandfather's birthday, Bob Carlson, and his birthday present is a Nebraska bowl game. Bob, happy birthday to you, Bob.
Happy
God,
birthday.
Big time. Big time.
All for
It's a
you.
great day.
Chris Diaz again. What do you think about the defensive backs coach, the wide receivers coach, and the special teams coach? Those feel like positions that need help. And look, there's a lot of time to figure this stuff out.
Special teams gotten a lot better.
I mean, I thought special teams have improved. I talked to Drew Brown and Pat Smith, two former kickers before the game, two former starting
Drew Brown,
on the
Pat
field
Smith,
pregame.
okay.
And Drew brought up a point about the early kicking problems. He said, Sean, the holds or the snaps, were so bad. He said those were some of the worst snaps I've ever seen. And
Like at Purdue.
He goes, it didn't matter who your kicker or holder was. I mean,
Did they have three blocked at Purdue?
Two.
Two.
I thought they had three.
2 or 3?
The stats for John Hole said he had 2 blocked against Purdue.
And he missed the third one.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Remember Rule though after the game said that the snaps were in the turf. I always thought that was funny. They were so bad that they were in the turf.
I mean, Buschini
They're
was
like
like
worm
trying to
burners.
salvage. I mean, he was just on the ground and he just tried to pick it up.
So Drew Brown said that?
Yeah, Drew and Pat Smith. And, they were encouraged by what they had seen from John Hall stepping in.
How about Hall? 8
He's been
straight.
good.
And he's drilling them.
I know.
I mean, he really, hey, guys, he's got a strong leg.
Well, that's
I mean,
what Rule's been saying since the get-go,
Yeah.
is that the talent was never the issue, just between the years. He had
hammers
to kick with confidence. Well, Ohio State, he got that confidence. He hasn't looked back since.
He hammers them. He just hammers them.
All right, let's keep it moving. Jacob, the drought is over. Enjoy your bowl trip, fellas. And let's talk bowl trips. I mentioned
Sean is the resident bowl expert.
Well, we will have a trip put together for fans. There's a company, a sports company that's been in contact with me for the last 8 years. We haven't been able to
set
up a trip for a while. And a gentleman, Glenn, every time Nebraska gets to 5 wins, he sends me a real excited text. We've had a lot of those texts, and finally, I'm going to text Glenn and say, "Let's go." But we'll set up a trip with this company where it will more than likely be a direct charter flight from Lincoln with hotels and game tickets, and it will be a good trip for fans. And there'll be a lot of people that will go on this trip. It will be a successful trip. But as a 6-win team right now, Nebraska will still be attractive. I mean, I think at minimum we're going to Phoenix.
Okay, Sean. Now the question people ask you, they ask me all the time: is this Detroit, New York?
No, they're not.
Yeah, explain this.
I talked to Dannon a little bit more about this too. So bowl games can select, and Detroit's the last pick.
Okay.
So that will be way down the line of teams, but a 6-win team can be taken over a 7-win team. And in the case of Nebraska, they're going to be treated like a 7-win team right now. If they beat Iowa, they'll be treated like an 8-win team. So there's a pretty good chance that Nebraska low end is in Phoenix. I would say Nashville. I would say Tampa, or maybe Charlotte. And Charlotte is a January 3rd game.
Ooh, interesting.
That'd be nice.
Which, in terms of Rule, it'd be nice to have more practice.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure he kind of selfishly would like to go back into Charlotte and win a game there.
Yeah, I that practice component is really interesting. You get 15, 16 practice.
Nashville is the 30th, I believe.
Okay.
And the 31st, I want to say, is Tampa.
Okay.
So they're all viable options for Nebraska. The 26th, though, is Phoenix. So that would be my least favorite of those games, only because of the lack of turnaround time. I'd like for them to get, a good 3 weeks of practice.
Yeah.
Where they can get 4 or 5 practices for 3 straight weeks and develop, because this is what the program needs. But they will go somewhere. New York is going to take a Rutgers. New York is going to take an East Coast team that makes more sense. I mean, they might take Michigan in the Pinstripe Bowl. I think Michigan would be an ideal team for them at that point. But a lot of teams, Michigan will be an attractive 6-win team too.
Yeah, they are. You see why Nebraska's attractive, though. And there's a reason. I'm serious about this. Holgorsen makes Nebraska more attractive. He's a big name in college football. It's a storyline.
Now, the difference with Michigan in a bowl versus Nebraska is Michigan will be opt-out city.
Oh, yeah.
Nebraska, I mean, there'll be guys coming back to play. Like Tommy Hill might play in the bowl. I'm kidding. Rule said he's done. I'm just joking. But I think that's the difference. This bowl game will be treated.
You don't think you'll see a lot of Nebraska opt-outs?
Oh, I doubt it. I mean, I don't think anybody on this team has the draft stock that can just step out of this game.
I'd be stunned.
And the guy who does, Ty Robinson, doesn't feel like an opt-out guy.
Can you imagine him being here 6 years without going to a bowl and then says, "Oh, they finally make one"? He's like, "Nah, I'm done. I'm good."
It'd be really depressing.
Yeah, right.
That would
absolutely not happen.
Positive angles is like Riley Van Poppel can play against Iowa. Now he can play in the bowl. Bowl games don't count on your 4 games. 14 of Nebraska's 20 incoming true freshmen will be able to be a part of bowl practices because they arrive early.
Jeez.
So they'll have like Jackson Carpenter, Dawson. I mean, a lot of these guys. Brian has. I'd have to pull up the full list.
That's fine.
But 14 of the 20 committed.
14 guys that are coming in will be able to practice. Boy, today is a conversation changer. There's so much going on there. That'd be a lot to write about right there.
I mean, that's exciting.
I know.
You're going to see all these kids. But before we get into more Super Chats, thanks again for joining us on HuskerOnline Postgame Live. Again, we're brought to you by who? The postgame beverage sponsor, Zipline. They've been with us through thick and thin.
It's really good beer, too.
I'm hoping now we can get a bowl preview show, maybe.
For God's sake, I would hope so.
Or, they're opening a new location on Westo, or they're redoing. So we're going to ideally do one more live show with our good friend from Zipline before the spring. We'll do a winter show here. So we're also brought to you by Stephen M. Sipple's new right-hand man, Mando. Sip he's all in. Mando sent him all the stuff. He was a little skeptical. Sean, you trying to give me hints? And I said, no, I'm trying to change your life. And Sip felt that way immediately to the point where he travels with it. I mean,
with the soap.
He sprays it everywhere he goes.
Yeah, I always have it. I in my travel bag right now. There's plenty of Mando in there. Sean gave me a free bag of stuff, and I didn't know what to expect. But this stuff smells really good. That's the bottom line. It's just a smell. It's a very alluring smell.
And if you know what it would be, like, it's Christmas time now, coming around the corner.
Stocking
stuffers. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to get you hooked up with the Mando starter pack. It's $40. Actually, it's not $40. Excuse me. And it comes with a solid stick of deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. It's already discounted. And then they're going to give you $5 off that as well. You have to use the promo code Husker, though, at shopmando.com. That's the Mando starter pack, promo code Husker at shopmando.com. Thanks for supporting Mando and the Husker Online show. Let's move it back in. Billiken beef. I'm not crying. You're crying. And I mean,
that's a good one. That's a funny one.
I'm telling you guys, like, I don't want to act. I mean, but I got my eyes got heavy on the field. I just really thought about how
you've been through a lot of pain, Sean.
I mean, we speak to fans around the state everywhere. I know. We've had to talk people through this for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And this is not,
no, you're right.
I mean, it's not a big deal that he got the 6 wins, but it is a big deal.
It's a big deal that they ended the drought. There's no way. I mean, there's no,
and they
don't apologize for that.
We just laid out like 15 different reasons why this is a significant day in recent Nebraska football.
Oh, there's going to be people. I get it. There'll be people that kind of poke fun at.
Well, hey,
Nebraska.
Matt Rule said himself, said this is the first and only time we celebrate getting to 6 wins.
I get that. You're gonna get some.
But guess what? You can celebrate the hell out of it right now.
Yeah, but here's the good news, and Sean pointed this out on the field, and it's just I think it bears repeating. They didn't back into this win. They hammered.
They were the better team from start to finish,
and that means a lot. That means a lot
because Wisconsin has hammered them. You know, Barry. Just the thought of Barry Alvarez sitting somewhere upset about this. If you're a Nebraska fan, you got to like that because he's kind of chuckled about how he's owned
A lot of
Nebraska.
Wisconsin people have. I mean, if you go back to 70-21, right? This wasn't 70-21, but this was Nebraska scoring 43, 44. Is it 44? Whatever the hell they scored. It's
44 points, Steve.
44
points.
That's the thing that resonates loudest with me. They scored 44.
No.
That's the thing I'll go to bed thinking about. They just put 44 on Wisconsin. That's not a good Wisconsin defense. It's not terrible. And they were without Hunter Wohler. We should make sure we mention that. Hunter Wohler's their leading tackler, the safety. Not sure he would have made a huge difference. Probably wouldn't have made a huge difference. Keep rolling.
All right, let's move. Soggy Muffin Bandit. Put any and all negatives aside. They did it. Amen.
Yeah.
Bowman, 78. Nebraska's going bowling. We're all going drinking on me, gentlemen. Let's effing go. Go big.
Bowman's been
red.
talking about this for weeks now, so we'll see you wherever we end up,
And
Bowman.
I will say this, depending on the date of the bowl, like if it's after Christmas and we have time, like we'll do shows on the bowl site. Like
100.
we're like, we will set up and be out there and we're gonna have fun. Like we will do in fans, we'll make sure everybody knows we'll figure this out and have some fun live shows on the bowl site as well.
A lot of people toasting Nebraska tonight. I showed Sean a tweet I got from Bill in Pennsylvania, as a good friend of mine. He said, if Nebraska wins this game, I'm gonna get hammered tonight, and I haven't drank in 45 years.
It's gonna break 45 years of sobriety to celebrate this one.
God bless you, Bill. We love you.
Love you.
Hope he has a good night.
Adam Klein, thank God for Dana Holgerson. This defense made it a little uncomfortable, but it's a good day. And Colorado lost too. I kind of wanted Colorado to win.
Why?
Just because it makes it look better for Nebraska.
I was happy for Lance Leipold. 3 straight games. Iowa State. Kansas beats Iowa State. Kansas beats Brigham Young on the road, and Kansas beats Colorado.
Who do they have to play to get to 6 wins?
I don't know, Sean, but it's somebody pretty good, I think.
Utah?
Maybe. I'm not sure. But that's quite I keep saying, this took a machete to the top of the Big 12. Just took a machete and bloodied it up.
As impressive of a 3-game run as you're going to find, given those wins at this point in the season with where their year started.
It's incredible.
They play Baylor, Robin?
And hey, by the way,
I'm
guys,
pulling it up right
we're
now.
live. Oklahoma 24, Alabama 3 right now.
Yikes.
The mighty SEC.
They got
Oh,
they got Baylor.
Sean.
Sean. They closed the season at Baylor. Kansas
Okay,
does.
that's tough. Baylor's won 4 in a row going into today. How about Alabama taking on the chin? Now, here's my question: is Alabama knocked out too? Ole Miss knocked out, and Alabama knocked out?
I'm sure there'll be a push for a 3-loss SEC team
What-
to jump everybody to get in the playoff.
Indiana, though, needs to hammer Purdue next
Yes.
week.
Okay.
Like it
Like-
can't even be a doubt.
Gotcha.
Well, and you know Signetti's just going to go for the throat on that one.
Ryan Walters, 1-10.
Ryan Walters, 1-10.
Your boy.
Yeah. What I tell you on that one?
You called it.
Not patting myself on the back.
called it.
That was a reach of a higher. Hey, okay, keep rolling.
All right, let's go in. Strax packs. I'm not crying. It's a little bit dusty here.
Lots of emotions tonight.
Yes, I mean, those fall leaves get a little dusty.
People are emotional.
Oh, as they should be.
Well, just staying with this team
Yeah.
and the way they did it. I mean, it was hard. I mean,
Oh yeah.
like nowhere in the world is a stadium full for a 5-win team.
And full and beautiful today. Wow, what a crowd. What a crowd.
Nate Smith celebrating 6 wins with my boy Steve Mando Sipple, Robin, not 25-year-old girl Wash It, and Sean
What does that
Desmond
mean,
Howard
by the
Sucks Callahan.
Yeah, I can see the comparison.
Thanks, Dana. And by the way, Steve Sipple had to shave his goatee because he was getting recognized as Dana Holgerson by so many people that he wanted to kind of change his
There
identity.
it is.
Look at Dana.
That's too
Look at
much.
Dana and Sip.
Coach Dana.
That's not why I did it. I got a chunk out. I just had a shaving mistake. And when you do that, you got to take the whole thing off.
You and Dana got plans later tonight?
No,
Sip?
we don't have plans. This is my plan right here, Sean.
Joshua Frederick, exercise the demons. Thank you very much, Joshua. Now he comes up with the question: what bowl destination and opponent do you want the most? Can
Okay,
you believe we finally have this conversation? Hell
Oh, it
yeah.
feels good, boy.
I don't know.
Tampa, because that means they beat Iowa and they're at 7 wins.
All right.
I would like a week in Florida, selfishly.
And I'm with both of you. Isn't it interesting, too, what this win does? You start thinking about beating Iowa. It's very possible. It's a better
They got
matchup.
a 4th-string walk-on
Right.
quarterback right now.
And does Iowa care as much about this game?
Yeah,
on
are they
Friday
going to
as
have
Nebraska?
opt-outs?
Are they going to have what?
Opt-outs.
Good question. Good question.
Things are tenuous over there. This win maybe helps things, but I mean, you got your Cade McNamara putting out statements that he hasn't quit the team. Like, there's some stuff going on there.
Jeez. Now, you mentioned something earlier, Rob. You wonder, I would think this getting the monkey off Nebraska's back would be beneficial to the players. I think that's the case. You don't want it to go too far the other direction over where they relax. And that's where rules got to come in. Can't let those guys relax.
All right, let's
you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Let's go to Mike Hawk. Can't wait to see you guys. His name's Mike Hawk.
Shut up. Come on. It doesn't require a lot of savvy for you to recognize what people are doing to you. It doesn't. You're from South Omaha.
I feel like I'm Mo on the Simpsons.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening now.
Anybody?
You got to be careful.
Can't wait to see you guys in Phoenix for the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Just make sure Sip doesn't have too many of those infamous Scottsdale margaritas.
They make them different in Scottsdale?
I don't know, but
thank you, Mike.
I'll take my chance.
Big Mike.
Nate, I like this one. He comes in with a $44.25 super chat. Go big MF and red. Yeah. I feel like Andy Dufresne right now. Enjoy your zip lines tonight. Thank you, Nate. We are.
Andy
look at there's Holgers.
Crawled through a mile of you know what. Come out clean on the other side.
Bowman 78. Men's basketball beats Creighton. Football wins. Volleyball's about to get to win over Wisconsin.
21-16 in the third set. They're up 2-0. Could be a sweep of the 6th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers.
You take out Creighton and a sweep over Wisconsin in one weekend.
Pretty good. It's pretty good weekend for Dannon and the troops.
Yeah, as you're trying to raise money for a stadium project.
Yeah.
It's been a while since the vibes have been this high.
Yeah, think about this. If they beat Iowa and win a bowl, and then you have 8 months of beauty, 9 months of beauty, of
you do.
Happiness.
That's the thing I kept saying last week. There's still time to change the conversation and change it dramatically.
Because your opponents you're playing too.
Right. You got you're facing some vulnerability. Nebraska's vulnerable too, by the way. They're pretty vulnerable.
But think how much the enthusiasm changes for the fundraising of the stadium.
Yeah.
For grandfathering and getting people to upgrade their tickets to keep their seats in the new stadium down. I mean, just everything, all boats rise, as Bill Moose once said, if football wins.
That's right. So the Iowa game, see there's just so much good about this win because it makes the Iowa game, I think, more alluring. It would have been important, obviously, but now it's kind of more, there's some fun attached to it too. Why are you laughing?
You're going to have to be careful on some of these names on the super chat, Sean.
All right, you help him out.
All right.
Help him out.
Read slowly.
Men's, okay, Mike.
Case in point.
Mike.
Yeah,
how about Mike? Mike H.
We finally played like a group of dominant bulls. Thank you, Mike.
For the most part, yeah. For the most part.
Luke comes in. Win 6 means we get a free mini vacation bowl game. Emmett Johnson really looked good today. Dylan looked more confident today. Thank you, Dana. Go Big Red.
Makes you wonder about Dylan, how much of an impact that's having. I think it is. But those guys clearly, you guys recognize something on the field before the game. There's clearly a lot of love for Satterfield. He was embraced by Dylan. You guys talked about it. You saw it.
Well, there was a moment even in the pregame with Matt Rule and Sat, and it was an emotional hug, and they were happy. I mean, so I've talked to some people that have talked to Sat, and he's being a true pro, and he's 100% behind helping Dana Holgorsen.
That's great.
Do what he needs to do. So it's a business. Look, and Nebraska volleyball just gets the win, by the way.
Oh, that's why the roar. See, we're downtown.
Yeah, we got a little bit of delay on the stream. And there it is, 25-17, 3-0 sweep.
Now, Jack, and God, Jack, you have to come up with a better name to not. I mean, that one's not going to stump me, Jack. I've been on edge for 8 straight years. I'm so excited to finally be able to a bowl game. All right.
Good God, Jack.
Running an 8th grade science class here with anonymous questions coming through the channels. But before we keep going to the super chats, HuskerOnline postgame live brought to you by Bauer. Bauer serves as support for local contractors and utility companies with the state of Nebraska. Bauer Underground gives 100% to ensure quality control for their customers, as excellent management skills to supervise each and every job they contract for. The company and its employees are accustomed to deadline pressure on construction jobs. They take tremendous pride in meeting deadline requirements while maintaining excellent workmanship on each job. Strategy is at the heart of what they do for more than 25 years. Their reputation has been built on these basic principles, which include quality workmanship, on-time completion, hiring and retaining high-quality personnel, utilizing the latest earth-moving techniques, maintaining safety for their customers and employees. You can check them out at BauerUnderground.com to read more. They have locations in Lincoln, Omaha, Kearney, and Norfolk. Thanks again to Bauer Underground for sponsoring us on Husker Online Post Game Live. Did Emmett hit that big thing better or what? Okay.
RJ, that was a safe one.
Hit that thing.
We talked about Emmett.
He hit the hole.
He did.
Right.
That's what he's going off.
Yeah, I'd say the last 2 games he's looked good. The best we've seen him. Dowdell, I think, scored 3 touchdowns today.
He
though.
did.
Dowdell's still really, really good inside
10
the
rushing
5.
touchdowns, the most by a Nebraska running back since Dedrick Mills in 2019.
It's because of what I've been telling Sean since September. He's really good inside the 5.
That 1-2 punch is starting to become a real thing right now, where you have Emmett playing at this level, but then you have that hammer with Dowdell around the goal line. Like,
and again, offensive line, getting some push, opening holes. We're seeing it.
It's all coming together.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Eli, is this what happens? Is this what happiness feels like? Offense and special teams look great. Secondary was questionable. So happy for the seniors to get to a bowl. If volleyball wins, it's the best weekend since when?
Hey, Eli with a beautiful poetic question. Is this what happiness feels
It's been so
like?
long.
Look at this kid with his shirt off. By the way, there had not been a field storm at Nebraska for a game, since 94. And there's
you know that?
I wrote the Colorado 94 game.
You wrote a book about
it. He gets so
why do you play the Babe in the Woods when
I don't remember.
Interrupt good information here.
Okay, do it again.
But 1994 was their last. They've had 2 this year. 2
what?
Field storms.
Okay.
And look, it wasn't. I mean, look, they beat Wisconsin. They hadn't done that in a long time. They went into a bowl game, and so I'm okay with it.
100%.
And the snobs that get upset about it.
Come on.
We live in this social media era where the kids want that experience, so they can share that moment and be a part of it.
100, Sean. Was there people deriding it?
Oh, I didn't see. I saw a couple in the comments when we called for it because we did lead the charge for the Colorado charge.
You did, yeah.
And a cop came up to me and goes, "This is all on you." And I'm like, "Well,
I like it. I'm 100% fine with it tonight." You not only did you end the bull streak, you ended that 10-game losing streak to Wisconsin,
and you got a trophy.
Yeah, you got a trophy. It's Wisconsin. Oh yeah, I'm 100% okay with the field storm.
Fine. It was like the tamest field storm ever too. I guess nobody was ever like in danger or anything like that. It was
a bunch of kids that wanted a quick selfie, and
it was cool. They're
fun.
You saw college kids getting selfies with the players. That's what it's all about, man.
Adam Raiola was efficient. Johnson and Barney were playmakers. Dowdell and the O-line finished drives. What happened to Fedoni? Lindenmeyer and Borkacher seem more mobile and have better hands, and that's going to be a great autopsy because I think Fedoni only played a few snaps.
Yeah, you guys will have your PFFs. Yep. Who does offense? Sean
I will, and I'll be up. I have to take Kit, my daughter, to Lincoln Southeast at 6:45 in the morning.
Don't drink too many Zipline.
Oh, you hammer through on a night like tonight.
Hey, now we haven't talked enough about Barney. What was his final numbers, Rob?
I got it right
Barney.
Here.
9 catches on 11 targets for 85 yards. He also had 1 rush for 11 yards, a 45-yard kickoff return, and a 9-yard punt return. 150 all-purpose yards.
His best game, right?
And he's got the most catches ever for a freshman, true freshman.
His best game. Again, I'm just going to bring him up again, Holgerson. Holgerson's a wide receivers coach. Not now, but that's what he was in a previous life. He can help Ja'Cory Barney. Sean, I'm going to say it. He can help keep Ja'Cory Barney here because Ja'Cory Barney hears from teams. You know that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So look at that. That's a beautiful stat line for him. Beautiful.
Huskered for life. What Holgerson has done in 3 weeks is simply amazing. Imagine if he had been here the whole time. That man made lots of money today, and not really. He's making $4.5 million. No coordinator in college football makes more than $2 million.
Mhm.
He's a coordinator.
Mhm.
He is getting paid $4.5 million if he works here or if he works at McDonald's.
Yeah.
But
Now,
he kept himself very relevant in the coaching conversation nationally. I mean, people around the country are going to see what he's done in 3 weeks to Nebraska's offense, where all of a sudden in 2 games, he's posting the most points they've scored all season, some of the most yards they've put up all season, and the most points and yards they've had under Matt Rule. And that's just with a couple weeks on the job. So a guy that was just an analyst down at TCU not too long ago is now very much in the conversation as one of the most effective play callers in the game right now.
And that's why when you're a coach, Sip, if you get fired, you almost want to get back up and ride as quick as possible. Because the longer you're all out, the harder it is to get back.
Yeah.
And
Here's the thing, though. Holgerson, it wasn't going to be hard for him because as I said earlier, 6 offenses as a coordinator, 6 top 10 offenses, 6 for 6 in the top 10. We're seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing why. It's fascinating to me that you can see. I mean, we're just laymen, but we watch a lot of football though, and we can see better plays being called.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, he's worth a lot of money.
Mr. Robo 007 has 249.99 super chats. 1 comment question.
Hello, Mr. Robo.
Thank you.
First
Mr. Robo.
Husker season without my grandpa.
Oh.
He was a huge Husker fan. Thanks for the quality content and go Big Red. Well, thank you. And we know your grandpa is up watching this. Hopefully he's watching us right now. Maybe he's drinking a Zipline. He's enjoying it right now like we are.
Nice, because I feel like I'm in heaven right now.
Zip Light, baby. Daryl,
Like sort of.
you got just
If this is heaven, it'd be all right. I mean,
you just got people spraying Mando on you and you're drinking Zip Light.
people, multiple. Wow.
Daryl John, is the offense if the offense is sustained through the end of the season, is Holgerson a candidate for the head coaching jobs? Would Oklahoma, Arkansas, our Big 12 schools look at him for the potential? That would be the only way that Nebraska would lose him.
Maybe. But you also got to remember that things didn't end well at his last couple spots. You know, at West Virginia, and
Houston,
in
he had 3
particular.
losing seasons in 5 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, a good play caller doesn't necessarily translate into a good head coach.
No.
So maybe that is working in Nebraska's favor to where this is going to be a pretty nice situation for him to be in, because they're going to, I mean, the money's not an issue, and he's got a quarterback, and he's got the resources to recruit to that, you know, are going to be hard to beat.
You know, we've seen already, though, what makes him appealing to ADs, why he's been able to land 2 big-time jobs, because you saw his presence. You've seen his presence.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a pretty enormous presence, right? He's got a level of charisma, and he's obviously very confident, right?
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's doing, and he knows what he's doing.
All right, let's move it on. Jeremy comes in with $100 super chat.
Well,
Thank you,
geez, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Long time coming. Sean, Rob, and Steve, you guys have gotten us fans through some pretty dark times. I have said it for years. When Nebraska became bowl eligible, I would give you $100. The Steve Sipple game day prayer was finally answered. Thanks, guys, for all you do. And look, Jeremy, Sip and I particularly, I mean, we travel the state all season, and we talk to fans. And what amazed me about this week, Sip, and we said the same thing. We go to Beatrice, go to Fremont. I was at Holy Ghost.
Omaha.
Huge crowds at all 3 places. And I will say the Dana Holgerson hire, I think, brought out optimism. People were excited about that direction.
Sure.
But there's not a place in America where 100 people would show up on a Thursday night to hear sports writers talk about a football team.
Not many places. You know what I've seen in there? You look in the people's eyes, and you've always seen this sort of hope and please tell me that it's getting better. And, you know, it's just, you see this level of hope that's amazing, because you can see hope in people's eyes. And that's been very interesting to me for the last several years.
All right, let's move it in. Jeremy, one more thing next year in Minnesota, steak dinner on me at TPC Twin Cities. Also, golf if you're interested. All right, Jeremy, you don't want us to golf with you,
but we do want to eat steak.
Probably would get you kicked out of the golf course because we work at our job so many hours. We don't have time to golf.
No, but we have time to eat steak.
We have time to eat steak.
So
drink
we'll
whiskey,
be
and
happy to go
margaritas.
with you. What's that place called?
Well, we've been to Murray's and Manny's both.
What's he talking about?
It sounds like a golf course there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
The Players Club.
let's
Minnesota.
do Murray's Steakhouse next year.
Yeah, with Jeremy.
Have we switched to Murray's in Minneapolis, Robin? Are we kind of on a rotation with Manny's and Murray's?
I haven't been to Manny's in a while. Murray's was the last one we went to.
The last time we were at,
It's got the classic steakhouse feel that we all,
100.
I think, seem to enjoy.
last time Robin and I went to Manny's, a guy tipped back in his bar stool
Oh yeah,
in the bar, just kind of like a slippery marble floor, and the chair flipped. Dude hits his head, older guy,
Yeah.
on the floor,
it was
and
a scene.
and an ambulance and squad came in the middle of the bar, and everyone just kept eating, hanging out, and they took the guy out of it. It was crazy.
He ended up
that's
being
rough.
okay. Like
You really?
he stood up and
Yeah.
He was knocked out.
yeah, but he got knocked out cold.
Boy.
All right.
Look at MJ Sherman. MJ Sherman can make some plays.
He had a good game.
That backside chase down he had.
He ran down to Wee Walker. Yeah, Sherman can run. That's what he can rip around that edge.
All right, Cole. Last week, I super chatted that this team wouldn't win another game. I apologize for bringing the negativity, gents. Thanks for keeping us all sane through the bull drought. And look, it's been hard for us the last 4 losses to do these shows. I mean,
Here's the thing, Sean, forget about us for a second. That Cole, I get it. And you know what? The players heard a lot of that. I give them a lot of credit for having to kind of wade through all that sort of negativity, because we heard a lot of that, right, Sean?
oh
Rob?
yeah,
We heard a lot of people say they're not going to sip. They ain't winning another game. We heard a lot of that. You know what? If we hear a lot of it, they hear a lot of it. They have to put that stuff in the background, but it's not easy to do, especially for kids. And they hear it on campus. They hear it all over social media. Cole, don't apologize. It's fine. You're frustrated. And there's a lot of people frustrated. I can't tell you how many people I heard that from. Sip, they're not going to win another game.
I mean, they've lost 8 straight games
With
with
bowl.
a chance to clinch bowl eligibility.
Right.
and they're going to play the 2 teams that have owned them the most in
Right.
recent
Yeah,
years.
they were playing
Iowa
a team
and
they
Wisconsin.
hadn't beaten 10 years.
And then again, we hammer this point home. We'll keep doing it. They won convincingly. That's what means the most to me today. They won convincingly, and they scored 44.
And we all picked Nebraska to win this
We
game.
did, but I didn't pick 44.
The local paper had Wisconsin winning, though. In my
Who
paper,
picked 44?
nobody. The over under
44?
the over under in this game was like 41.5.
That's the story, boys. I mean, that's not. And you know what? Len Rule was so right. 2 guys dropped passes in the end zone. They left some stuff out there. They could have scored 50 today. 50.
Luke Fickle's a defensive-minded guy. I mean, he
It's
looked
tough for Fickle.
he looked like a lost dog. Dana just sliced him up.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear too much about Hunter Wohlers. These are safety. He wasn't going to make that big of a difference.
They got no pass rush, none. I mean, Dylan Raiola was sitting back there making sandwiches.
Right. They're listen to you. They're kind of a shadow of what they've been.
It was a stripped down version of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the
Yeah.
most stripped down version of Wisconsin
That we've seen since 2011, right?
since Nebraska joined the conference.
In 2011,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, that team was the best version of Wisconsin.
Russ.
Nick Toon,
Oof.
Jared Abinderis,
Oof.
Russell Wilson,
Ooh.
Monte Ball,
Abbott
James
Davis.
White,
Ooh.
Melvin Gordon might have been on that team.
Probably had a bunch of NFL
I think so.
linebackers on that team too.
Yeah. Oh, Mike, for sure, Rob, for sure.
Like Nick Toon looked like Randy Moss compared to Wisconsin's receivers right now.
Although those guys aren't that bad. We saw some pretty good receivers.
Yeah,
tonight.
that Vinny Anthony, 7 catches for $137 and a touchdown.
Chris Brooks's kid had a 27-yard. And Chris was here. I talked to Chris.
Former Husker Chris Brooks.
He was with France Hardy, another former Husker. They were
Former
down there.
Husker. Sean recognized France Hardy. Hello.
Yeah,
France Hardy was taken aback.
That's the Rain Man in him right there.
He's like, you're the first
Probably
guy.
the only person in the state that would recognize France Hardy.
I'm not sure Zach Taylor would have recognized France Hardy.
Well, I went up to Butler and interviewed him when he was in college back in the day, but
Of course you did.
he's coaching football in Miami now.
Is that right?
And he told me it was his first Husker game since he played in 07.
And you And what was his reaction when you said you
He's
recognized
like, you remember me? And, at first when I saw Chris Brooks, it took me a second because he had a big beard.
Yeah.
And it took me a second. And then I'm like, he's like, you're like France. He's like, oh my God, you remember me.
That's amazing.
I pulled that one out.
Nice job, Sean. I'm serious.
God gave me one gift of knowing that kind of stuff at least, but
and bowl stuff.
And bowl stuff.
in booking trips. All right. Before we get into the more super chats, Husker Online Postgame Live brought to you by Vintage Custom Homes. We're also brought to you by obviously Zipline, our official postgame beverage sponsor, but Vintage Custom Homes located in Gretna, but they build all across Nebraska. Great time. Not only to maybe build a new home, look at home building with interest rates going down and the economy taking an upswing here in the coming months ahead. You can look at Vintage Custom Homes. They don't just do home builds. They do barn dominiums, outbuildings, pool houses, larger models, just about everything. And they're not just Omaha. They'll go to North Platte, Arnold, Nebraska, Council Bluffs, you name it. They have built homes and structures in all of these places. Thanks again to Vintage Custom Homes for sponsoring us on the show here. Visit them on their website at vintagecustomhomesne.com. That's vintagecustomhomesne.com. Let's keep it rolling. Phil, the amount of pounding up front in that game reminds me of my childhood. Okay, Phil?
That's another one you don't read the full name.
Yeah, I'm doing first names only now.
Say the first name. Next.
Michael. I was never worried. I always believed, don't look at my chat history as a 2021 grad. This is my first bowl bound season, savoring every moment.
As you should.
And that's what I'm interested in this bowl trip. How many people,
my chat history.
like my daughter is a second grader. She's never really been able to experience. I mean, like kids in this will be a new thing for a lot of people.
Isn't that something?
It's crazy. I mean, it's kind of like Bob Devaney getting to the Gotham Bowl for a lot of people. Because before the Gotham Bowl, Nebraska had not been to a bowl game since 1941.
Mm-hmm.
They went to the Orange Bowl in 41, the Gotham Bowl in 62.
Yep.
Wasn't quite that long of a drought.
Hasn't even really set in for me yet.
Luke, who's been a great super chatter all year, Luke Downing. Holgerson breathes life into this team. Outstanding work. Emmett Johnson was the player of the game. He led by example tonight. Shout out to Hole, who was clutch.
Who else gets shout outs besides Buscini? He gets shout out. I'd say
John Bullock.
John Bullock gets one, but Barney with the opening kickoff return, which rule sided. That was a tone setter.
Because that was kind of dicey to run it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't like one that you'd run out.
Yeah. Corey Barney. Yeah. But yeah, Emmett Johnson. God, how many times did we sit up there in that press box and go, wow, nice. I mean, he just looks, his legs look so good. Live legs in game 11.
All right, let's move it on to Patrick. The boys have done it. Praise be Dana and his simple but confident play calls. Give Sip all the marks he wants. The boys are going bowling, and it's time to celebrate Tim Miles style. Face down,
face down and tripping.
When they won in the Big 10 tournament, they were pulling off those upsets with like a 6-man rotation. And he does the post-game interview and runs off, and they had these like wires that went across the entrance to the tunnel, and they were covered by like this speed bump thing. Mm-hmm. Well, Tim's in such a euphoric sprint that he hits his foot on the thing,
goes down,
completely trips, face plants, and then to his credit, jumps right up and does the safe sign, and then kind of tap dances his way to the locker
I remember
room,
that.
So.
I rember that.
Dana Holgerson chiming in here. Yeah. No, it's Dale H. I'm sorry.
Dale Holgerson.
Dale Holgerson. I guaranteed a bowl bid in July, and the guys made it.
Good job.
Congrats. Now beat Iowa. Go Big Red. I'm telling you, if they beat Iowa, I mean, this bowl trip's going to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. Mm-hmm. Chase, I can officially get rid of the BetterHelp. Go Big Red. Yeah. Notice that we don't have BetterHelp in the show tonight. We didn't have to use them tonight as a sponsor because they won.
Yeah, this is good therapy. It's a good therapy day.
Craig learned I'm going to be a father for the first time in the Huskers early Christmas Husker Nation. That's a day.
Craig, congratulations.
Man,
I mean it.
What a weekend for Craig.
Jamie, great win today. Don't be satisfied with 6. Beat Iowa. Sip, don't forget your Mando on the trip to Iowa City.
I won't. It's already in my bag. I got so much Mando that I keep some in my bag and just some, in my bathroom. So
And it'll be a late, cold night in Iowa City.
You got another bag coming for me, by the way?
I think so. I'll tell you what, that game, what's going to be nice about going to Iowa, so many times I've made this trip over the years where you got to scurry back. I don't want to jinx this, but on Saturday morning or Friday night, you're worried about like somebody getting fired or something.
The Saturday press conference.
And like you can't even just like sleep till 8 o'clock in the morning. You just got to freaking go.
Yeah.
Like we will ideally be able to like have a leisure drive back on Saturday, which that I'm looking forward to.
Me too.
Fingers crossed.
I just totally jinxed it, by the way.
Yeah, you sure did.
Thanks for that.
Cornstalk McGee, as a 2015 grad, I shed a tear for the team and the fan base. Very grateful for your commentary, holding the players accountable and not just the coaches.
Yeah, that's important. Everybody's getting paid now.
Gallopolis, so much positivity here makes me very uncomfortable.
He even phonetically said it for you. Gilipollas.
Gilipollas.
Has Rule gotten a challenge right all year? See y'all down here in Arizona for the bowl. Look, Arizona could happen, but I could see Nebraska getting picked above Arizona.
Okay.
The downside with Arizona is it's December 26th.
Which means we won't get a bowl trip, guys. Like we just leave the day before. Like you're not going to go down there like on the 20th.
No. I mean, what if there's media availability though? We skipping it?
Yeah, we'll have to play it by ear.
Hey,
we'll play it by ear.
That yeah, we don't have to make those decisions right now. But it is funny what he said to me. That all the positivity does make me feel a little uncomfortable too. And if I'll just inject a little bit of concern, that defense it gave up 400 plus to Wisconsin. I mean,
and that was like the 90th ranked offense.
Yeah, 91st ranked offense. Rob, 91st ranked offense.
Locke was one of the worst quarterbacks in the conference.
And that's without Pauline.
Yeah, without their top wide
receiver. Pauline.
Jordine Ball, Will Pauline.
Grant Wallin.
42 catches. Concerns me. It does. Now, concerns a little alleviated by the fact it's Iowa. Quarterback issues, and they don't have a great receiving core. Okay.
Their passing game is going to be built on the running game.
Yeah. Caleb Johnson's the story in that game. You just got to try to hold him down.
Kurt Peterson, I was beginning to think the Freedom Trophy was a rumor, but here it is
here
on
it
our sideline for a year. Feel good about the win all around. Go Big Red. Yeah, I'd like to know how many players really knew the trophy existed.
I will tell you guys right now, and I don't mind saying this, the highlight of my season so far was looking up and seeing a group of players hoisting the Freedom Trophy. That was cool. Kudos to the Big Ten for having these trophies. It's pretty cool. They get a big trophy.
Yeah, especially when one team doesn't keep it for a decade.
Right. So they get this big trophy. They get it taken into the locker room. I love it.
The trophy was created when the East and the West divisions started. In the Legends and the Leaders days, it wasn't a trophy game.
Okay.
And then they made it a trophy once that became a divisional game. Now we don't have divisions.
All right. That's okay. But I just feel it's okay. I mean, we're no cheering in the press box and all that, but I feel very happy for those guys that we've covered for a long time.
No doubt.
That we've watched, kind of wondered, how do you handle this stuff? And here they get this moment. And it was really nice to see.
Captain Android. Guys, we're going bowling, and I just got engaged about 20 minutes after the game.
Man.
Let's go.
Captain Android, congrats.
Life-changing
We got
day this
people
has
having
been.
babies.
Yeah.
We got
engagements.
he's probably going to have a baby.
And this is why I get a little emotional thinking about. I mean, this means a lot to a lot of people.
Of course,
like,
it does.
and we're seeing it here. We see it in this. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like, Nebraska football is more than just a game on the field,
right? And that's why, frankly, and this is what I wrote. It just, and Sean has said it a million times, it just didn't make sense, this bowl drought. I could never really fully understand it.
Nobody could.
Right.
Because the players voted not to go 1 year.
Yeah, just grind Sean's gears. Mine too. But it just didn't make sense. When you look out on that stadium today, it was such a gorgeous fall day. The shadows were such that it was very defined colors. It was just an amazing scene, and you see that all the time. And wow, this team hasn't been to a bowl since 2016. Well, that conversation's over. We don't have to talk about it anymore, guys. It's over.
Nathan Dieterman, gentlemen, this is for you. You have helped Husker Nation navigate these 8 unreal years. I graduated in 2014 from UNL and have been with you guys weekly since. Cheers to you. Exhale, shout out, Beta crew, go Big Red. And you mentioned 2014.
Cheers to you.
That is when we started the Husker Online show. That was when we first originated the show as a podcast. We've done like 525 straight weeks of the Husker Online show, and this is our 3rd season of the post game.
Nice,
because we did the post game right away when you came over. I think we started doing it right then and there. Because Frost we started doing coaching changes were made. So this is our 3rd year of the post game shows, which we've learned is the most engaging piece of content out there for Husker fans, and we want to keep doing them. We have right now, let's see, I'll give you guys an update. We have we're at almost 2,100 live viewers right now.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thanks everybody.
Yes. Thank you.
Seriously. We do appreciate
Seriously.
Kodiak Bear, who's been a great super chatter all year. It was so fun being in the stadium for this game. The crowd was electric and my voice is gone. We got the monkey off our back and Bushini punted out of the state.
Boy, Bushini, I would say he didn't have a great year last year and has come on this year.
Big time.
Yeah.
He'll get a chance at the next level.
Very good.
I mean, he punted twice, but averaged 50.5 a kick, had a 52-yarder, and put one inside the 20.
Okay, now here's the thing about Bushini, you guys, we got to start looking at this. He could set the all-time average this year. He's knocking on the door. He might have passed Cook today in terms of average. Now you just got to see what he does against Iowa. Watch that, though. He might be the all-time Nebraska punter in terms of average yards per punt at the end of this season.
All right, let's move.
I never thought anybody beat Cook's record. It could happen.
Emily, thanks for all you guys do. We love the show and always watch, win or lose. But what a win tonight. Sip's prediction of 7-5 sounds spot on.
Nice.
Is 8-5 a realistic possibility? Start planning the bowl game vacay.
Yep, 7-5. I hope they get it. I mean, it's not. It's not. It wouldn't be a tremendous season, but it'd be a tremendous end to the season. Right.
Yeah.
7-5 is not a tremendous season.
Where things were 4 straight losses to finish 7-5 after the doom and gloom that was surrounding this place like 2 weeks ago,
with a chance to win 8.
Think if they got to 8-5.
Yeah.
To beat Wisconsin, to beat Iowa on the road.
Think of the marketing you could do with a Heroes Trophy and Freedom Trophy, just like almost like a T-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we got it all back.
Yep. Yeah.
Just with the 2 trophies. And.
Did you guys see? So
big game on Friday.
Dannon was at the press conference today, rules post game, and he had a shirt. It was like bowl bound 2024.
Dannon did?
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, there's a picture of him in it.
Oh, Dannon's tickled to death right now.
Would you wear a bowl bound 2024 shirt?
Oh, no, not in my shoes, but
we'll go on the trip though and have a hell of a time.
Oh, yeah.
If someone gave me one, I'd wear it.
I'd wear it in my house.
Yeah.
All right. One more here, for another one from Rich. And I like Rich where he's at right here. Go Big Red. He's sipping on a 12-year barrel strength bourbon to celebrate.
Boy, Rich.
God bless you, Rich. You got our blessing not to be drinking Zipline.
Yeah. That's an approved alternative.
All right. Before we get into our final rounds of super chats, again, Husker Online Postgame Live brought to you by Zipline, the official postgame beverage of Husker Online Postgame Live. They've been with us all year. We've done 2 great live shows with Zipline. I think we're going to have another one here coming in the coming weeks ahead as well. So thanks to Zipline. We're also brought to you by Homefield Apparel. And we want to tell you about the Black Friday sale that is now live through December 3rd. And if you're not familiar with Homefield, they have exclusive premium gear. And this is the unique stuff, the custom stuff, not the stuff you get at your normal big box stores. They want to cater to your personality as a fan. They want you to have the latest and most unique gear. And the Black Friday sale is their best deal they're going to get. 30% off site-wide. Yes, 30% off everything. Here's the code you have to use. BFCM24. That's BFCM24. And you'll get 30% off at Homefield Apparel. Thanks again to Homefield for sponsoring us here on Husker Online Post Game Live. Zelly at $12.99. Does a DC and an OC like White and Holgerson allow Rule to be the CEO style head coach we expected when he was hired? Should future hires be similar? And look, when Rule was the head coach, do you think he wanted to be a CEO head coach, or did he want to have a say in the offense and also be a CEO?
I think he wanted to be a CEO.
But
I think
was he more involved in the operation than he wanted to be then?
Perhaps. I can't answer that. I think he wanted to work with Satterfield, obviously. What you're getting at in this conversation, I think, Sean, is just Holgerson kind of changes the dynamic of the coaching staff rather profoundly because he's a 14-year head coach. So he can challenge the head coach if he wants.
And you would think that a condition of him sticking around here is he's got to have some say in what the staff looks like, what his offensive staff looks like, and who's around him, and the message that's being delivered being consistent. Like, that seems like something that would probably be a factor there. If Holgerson is your longer term solution into next year or beyond, he's going to have a little bit of a sword to swing, I think.
This is almost like
a big, yeah.
In baseball, it's kind of like how Will Bolt brought in Rob Childress. I mean, having an assistant with that knowledge next to the head coach really changes the dynamic of a coach.
It really does, and you have to have a very secure head coach. Like Will doing that, I mean, you're bringing in a guy in Childress who was a successful SEC head coach. Rule, it's the same thing. I applaud his move. It's fascinating. It's getting more fascinating after today, after they put 44 on Wisconsin. I guess I'm not quite as convinced as Sean that he's going to be here. I hope he is. I hope they make it work. I just think he's going to have some choices, especially people are watching this.
Head coach is the only, I mean, are you saying other OC jobs?
Other OC jobs. And Sean, I personally, and this is just my feeling, I wouldn't rule out head coaching opportunities. I mean, he's got a presence, you have to admit. I mean, and come on, not everybody does. There's some pretty bad head coaches out there.
But does he want to be the head coach of Southern Miss?
Well, it depends on what it is. Yeah, it depends on what opens.
What the opportunities are.
You know, what if it's Arkansas?
Yeah.
You know, I'd have to see. Yeah. I don't want to get too far down the road of this conversation because we don't know what's going to open. Mm-hmm. It's all about that. What is open? You know, that's what's going to come.
And how is he viewed as a head coach, not just a play caller?
Right. And I understand there's some hesitancy. I've talked to people they don't go too far down the road in that conversation. I go a little further because what I've seen is really impressive. And what I know about him is really impressive.
All right, let's move through Adam. Shout out to Donovan Raiola. The O-line unit played well.
Yeah.
Does the fullback have a role in Holgerson's offense? Go Big Red. We did see
two back. We saw two back.
Lindenmeyer was in a fullback role?
Maybe.
Ty Robinson, Elijah Judy played some fullback.
That was at Ohio State, wasn't it?
I thought it was today. Ty was talking about playing fullback.
I
don't know if he went in or if he just talked to Holgerson on the sideline.
I see. Because in his post game, he was talking about playing fullback and how he's blocking.
Anyway,
either way, the reason they're in that role and options in that role is because they don't have a healthy fullback.
I don't know about a fullback in Holgerson's offense. I know two back because we saw it. I mean, we saw Emmett Johnson and Dowdell in the same backfield.
Yeah, it's probably more of an H-back than a fullback.
Yes, for sure.
Frank Romero, $49.99 super chat. I listen to every show. Thank you, guys. Go Big Red. Frank, thank you. I mean,
50 smackaroos, Frank. Thanks.
We do it for the fans. I mean, the fans are what make this show go. You know, we have over 2,000 people watching us right now, and we love doing it. I mean, we love the opportunity to have a conversation with the fans because the fans are why we have a job.
No doubt about it.
Yep. Micah. So how does the offense how our offense look today solidify Satterfield not having a position on the coaching staff next year? I mean, that's hard to say how that's going to play out.
It solidifies he's not going to be calling plays.
Yeah.
I mean,
other than that, I would.
That will take care of itself in a couple weeks, one way or the other. We'll know. Tanner comes in, cheers from Sioux Falls, booking my bowl tickets now. Haven't been to a bowl game since we were in high school. And they did announce on the loudspeaker, stay tuned to Huskers.com. We'll have more information about the upcoming bowl trip. And that was kind of fun to hear.
Really fun.
Scott, gentlemen, this felt different. $100 from Scott, by the way. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks,
Scott.
It's good to be going bowling again.
Really is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's important to the program, too. I mean, Rule mentioned it. He put a number on it, how many more practices Wisconsin's had in the last several years than Nebraska. 107, or I think he said 105 or something like that. More practices. It's now, I've had some people, guys, say, oh, God, Sip, what if they get 6, 7 extra practices? Does that mean a lot? Yes, but 10 to 15 means a lot.
So he said in the last 7 years, Wisconsin's been to a bowl game. That's roughly 105 practices that their players have had of development that we haven't had.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
Lance, I would pay good money to watch Sean and Robin duke it out on live air.
That was
Go
good.
Big Red, such a relief.
I like
Back up
seeing
the
you
brake
guys
truck.
go at it.
And this goes back to when Rob and I were arguing about special teams.
Yeah, about kickoff returns.
AJ,
I mean, I was just for the record, I was a little with Robin on that. They're leaky, Sean. They're leaky. I mean, can't have that.
But again, we're not talking about the negative, Sip.
Here's the thing:
3 for 3.
you're both right. You're both
Buschini,
right.
Barney.
Yeah, you're both right. Because in totality, the special teams were
Yes.
very good, but they had one aspect that they'll look at. Rule will look at that closely.
I mean, Nebraska had like 10 kickoffs in this game. They kicked it off freaking 10 times.
Yeah, I think Sean, your expectations have lowered during these years. I mean, Alabama doesn't say, well, they kicked off. 10
hit a
times.
44-yard return. I mean, God dang it, guys. They freaking had 10
It was a
kickoffs.
44-yard.
44.
Oh, my God. Give him
Nearly
an F.
toasted.
No, okay. AJ, F.
I love it
Creighton,
when Sean gets
F. Wisconsin.
Wow,
Go Big
F.
Red. Thanks, fellas. Great show as always. Throw the Iowa in there, too, AJ.
Wow, not yet.
Yeah, they got to win first.
Look at that. The guys are with their girlfriends. It's just
Do we know that's a girlfriend?
maybe not.
A lot of assumptions
It's like a
happen.
Hallmark card right there.
T. Rosie Gaming. What's your guys' read on Iowa? Think we can win 7? Yes, I think they can win. at
Absolutely
Iowa. I do.
can.
Yeah, I
If
don't
they
have
pl-
a great read. They're not as good defensively as they've been.
No,
They're down to their third or fourth string
they
quarterback.
can't throw the ball.
Caleb, they're typical Iowa receiver. Their Wisconsin receivers will look much better than Iowa's, even without Paulie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's Caleb Johnson. That's what it is.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Ken. Finally, some 2-back sets to get the defense
Okay.
to think about more than one option running.
That's Holgerson. He went 2 back at Houston, guys.
We saw a lot of Harburg today too.
Saw more
They
Harbor.
really tried to get that going. That has not gone away with Dana, which is interesting.
Nate, finally, the sigh of relief of all the college years under Riley and Frost hopefully paid off. Time to catapult into the next year and win big.
I give Rule a lot of credit, and you know what? He's been second guessed. He took some heat, and I really appreciate coaches who keep their team together when things aren't good. Like Aranda is a good example. Dave Aranda, Baylor was going south, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Then they won 4 straight. That means a lot. Lance Leipold,
Lance.
what he's doing means a lot. What Nebraska's doing means a lot to me. Because you guys, the season can get away from you. It gets rough in November. It's colder than hell here. They're practicing in the morning when it's cold. Football's not that fun when you're
People
not
are
being
upset.
Here's the deal. This is the important thing. Football's not that fun when there's not a reward. There was a reward today, and that should really be helpful going forward.
All right, rhymes with laughter. Nebraska has been unburdened by what has been. All right,
That's a
it's like a haiku, a little.
no, it's a political reference.
It is. I didn't catch that, Rob. Could you explain it?
That's a former presidential candidate Kamala Harris used that.
She did. Okay.
All right,
Next.
Kenny.
Thank you.
We have 2 weeks vacation to burn before December 31st. What bowl game? Look, I'm all in on Nashville or Tampa.
Is that
Or
what you're all
Phoenix.
in on?
Phoenix, Nashville, Tampa.
Okay.
That's my board right now.
What's your guess? Right
Low in Phoenix.
Let's take this a step further. Who would they play in Nashville?
now. SEC team,
SEC
right?
teams in Nashville, SEC teams in Tampa.
Ooh-wee.
Okay.
I
And
mean, you could play like Old Miss in Tampa.
no.
Oh,
Okay. No, wait a
You
second.
could play A&M in Tampa.
Okay. Keep going. What other?
So Nebraska could play like an Ole Miss, an A&M, and Oklahoma.
Would they do another postseason of Nebraska, Texas A&M? I mean, they did it to the women's basketball team, they did it to the men's basketball team. Would they do it to Nebraska, finally going to a bowl, just like the men's basketball team? After a decade of NCAA tournament droughts, they pair them up just for the Trev storyline.
The answer to that question is yes.
Why? Think about this T-shirt with like a checkbox. Greg McDermott, check. Wisconsin, check. Iowa, check. Trev Alberts, check.
Yep.
That'd be a good run there.
What's the Phoenix?
Big 12.
Big 12. Okay. That could be a whole range of teams, by the way.
It could be like, I hope it's like Cincinnati, but I mean, it could be anybody in the Big 12.
You don't want a rematch, right? You don't want a Colorado rematch.
I mean, it could be like, not Arizona State. I mean,
you don't want a Colorado rematch, right?
BYU keeps losing. It could be BYU.
That'd be tough.
That'd be a bad one. I wouldn't like that.
Because those guys aren't opting out.
No.
Let's see. I don't even know what the name is on this guy, but
what you got?
Cohen one.
Be careful with that one. Just saying. John Hole
had more field goals made than Ryan Cochran this weekend.
We've had some good ones, and that was a good one.
That's the stat of the night.
That's a good one.
Tripled him.
Yep.
He didn't have one field goal, right, Rob?
Not
0 for 1.
It's pretty hard for a 7-footer that plays like 30-some minutes to not make a field goal.
Just call it what it is. It's really weak. It's weak.
Look, he's an All-American. He's a great player, and he only shot from the field was a 3-pointer.
Come on,
in the first half.
Come on. It's a little bit of an indictment on the head coach too, who I have great admiration for McDermott. But if I see that stat early in the second half, I'm pulling him aside and say, "Hey, go to work now."
Yeah. Was it the Zach Edey plan, Robin?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Luka
Garza, Zach Edey, any of those like dominant.
I know
bigs.
what the plan is, but you got to start demanding the ball. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, they swarm him.
I know.
They make it hard.
Fred's Zach Edey plan.
Nate Lenzer's
was the best Edey plan in the country.
Yeah,
100.
Nobody bottled up Zach Edey more than Nebraska did.
David Jorgensen. I am 55 and my dad is 83. Grew up a Husker fan. My dad actually had tears in his eyes as the game came to a close.
Wow.
Go Big Red. Hope we end up in Nashville as we now live in Tennessee. And I said the same thing to you, Sip. I told my wife this. I go, just thinking about all the fans, the kids, the coaches that we've known that have gotten fired here in the last. I mean, just a lot of people have been affected over this bowless streak.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree with you, Sean. And I would say the column was strangely easy to write because you just write that one from your heart. And I just felt it. I mean, it was important. And then being on the field and seeing the reaction of the players and the coaches and the people involved, Jay Terry, the equipment manager for so long. And yeah, these guys have been through a lot. And I just liked seeing the reward, a reward for hard work. That trophy represented it to me. Hoisting that big Freedom Trophy. Listen,
it looked heavy.
But it should, it just means a lot.
It just shows you like what seems inconsequential, like from the outside,
right?
Can mean so much.
Thanks,
when
Rob,
you have gone that long without that reward.
There's the trophy.
So, I mean, what we're talking about here, and this is what the essence of what we're talking about. This is a very proud program, and it became sort of the butt of jokes.
Oh yeah,
and that's hard.
Like walking into Big Ten media, you could hear people kind of scoff.
Yeah, Rule. I credit Rule for bringing this sense of pride back. And I like Robin quoted him earlier, and it was a great quote. That quote about this will be the last time we're celebrating 6 wins. Perfect.
Husker Nation, the drought is done. We're going bowling. The quick reads and the angles Dylan can throw are good, along with his completion rate.
Yeah. Just you see the passing game is much crisper already.
That throw that was dropped for a touchdown, I think it was Nair in the end zone. Like that was a dime.
Oh, yes.
He whipped that thing and it was placed perfectly. That was an incredible throw.
It was a long pass. I mean, it's like a 35, 40-yard
And that's
pass.
what's been missing from this offense. Everything's been just dink and dunk.
They got some stuff going downfield.
They were cutting. It's because the line blocked and they were running the ball.
Yep.
Matthew, impressive offensive performance considering what Wisconsin's D did last week against Oregon.
Agreed.
Perfect.
Agreed.
16 points by Oregon.
16.
by the number one team in America.
A week later.
Yep. Hey, great comment. That's a great comment.
Oh, this is not the next guy's comment, but how about Nebraska in the fourth quarter trolling Wisconsin with a jump around?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, memorable. That's fine. All's fair in love and war.
That's right. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
They were on a heater.
Yeah.
The team of whatever you'd call the people in game video board.
Between
Brandon Meyer
and his crew. Yeah, they were on a heater late.
Brandon Meyer.
Between the social team after the Creighton game and the in-game production tonight and the social team after the football game, they're empty in the clip.
It's all good fun.
They even played the Killers, Robin, one of my favorite stadium songs.
They did.
It's one of Carly's too, my daughters.
How old's Carly?
2nd grade. Okay. Tom, jumping ahead, would be awesome to see a Husker Sooner bowl game.
Ooh,
Sooners are beating Bama in the third quarter.
Hey.
Thanks for all you do.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
How about Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Tampa?
Bring it on.
You could reunite with Barry Trammell.
Yeah.
Go.
No, that'd be great. That'd be great.
All in.
All in.
Barry would probably come on our show with us.
100. And he'd be great. I'm going to tell you something about Barry Trammell. He's great on the radio.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah.
You and Barry are like the same guy in different states.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bowman 78. Sean, send me the bowl game info. I'll text Sip my email. Got his number from the ticket.
Hash hole. Hey, listen, we want people going.
Sipple gave his number on the air, not knowing what he was doing. To this day, he receives texts from numbers.
Middle of the night. I mean, all hours. I mean, it's amazing.
Way to go.
Yeah.
But back to the bowl game,
please.
So, look, I'm working with a guy named Glenn with a major company, and we're going to talk this week, and I promise you, between now and Friday, we will get this information to you.
Mm-hmm.
But the Cliff Notes is where Nebraska goes. As long as it's not drivable, they will offer a direct charter flight service with all Husker fans, hotel, transportation.
What would be drivable?
Nashville. You would get people that would drive to Nashville.
Oh yeah, no question.
So stay tuned. A lot will happen on that, but we plan to put together a trip with a company and look forward to that. So Matthew comes in with 100. Thank you, Matthew. Ken, we scored 44 points. We left at least 8 on the field.
Yeah.
Could have had could have had over 50 today.
How about that?
What did Alabama score in Wisconsin? 45?
Oh, Sean, I don't have that.
I'll look it up.
But you think about it, they would have scored 50 on Wisconsin.
Now Iowa got 42.
42.
Yeah. Iowa?
No, Alabama scored 42.
Alabama scored 42.
42 to 10.
Did Iowa score 42? Check that.
Iowa scored 42.
Nebraska scored 44.
Yeah.
Take that.
That's pretty hard to do on a team like Wisconsin.
Oh, it is. And he's right. 50 was in play. I mean, they about put a 50 on it.
No doubt.
Well, we talked Dana Holgerson, every offense he's been a part of has averaged more than 34 games.
He's always had top 10 offenses as a coordinator, and you're seeing why.
And he needed kind of one game to get his sea legs.
Yeah. And that game, they only scored 13 offensive points against USC, but you kind of saw, I guess.
Well, just compare what it looked like against USC to what we saw against USCLA, or like vice versa. The whole overall product and flow of the offense was significantly improved, even in that 2-week period.
Yep.
CB, if Dana is the next OC, Rule will let him bring in. Rule let him bring in what position coaches he wants, right? Obviously, we can't run it back with the same coaches. Look, that's really hard to speculate on.
Yeah, first you got to
see if Dana's coming back.
But I will say this, and I've said it. I'll just repeat it. If you guys look at what his staff was, his offensive staff at West Virginia, what
the next name?
Oh, if you look at what his staff was at West Virginia, is very impressive.
All right, we're just going to go with Mr. Long here. Thank you, Mr. Long.
Jeez.
Go Big Red.
What time is it? What time? Are we late enough for this?
Bust out the 5-inch swords. We're going bowling. We appreciate you boys and all that you do. Bowling at the beach, boys. Who are your possible opponents? And look, SEC, Big 12 probably right now.
Okay.
Ethan, from Zipline, our great friend.
Ethan.
Enjoy those beers tonight,
Ethan.
Ethan.
Hi,
we are
enjoying them, Ethan.
Thank you, Ethan.
make sure to try the winter alt. And I bought a 6-pack of winter alt. It's good.
It is good.
It's their seasonal release at Zipline. Also want to give another shout out to my son James, who was just born this season. He attended his first game today and he got the W. Well, pretty good.
It's a monumental day and weekend.
I just like all these.
Look at all these things that are happening.
Yeah.
Jason Howell, how does the bowl game with the Pac-12 teams work that the conference is imploded? So here's what happens on that. Any existing Pac-12 bowl deal, Pac-12 teams now that are in the Big 10 or the Big 12, they can go to those original Pac-12 bowls.
Ooh, so like grandfather?
Yeah, like the contracts are. So like the Holiday Bowl will take like still Pac-12 teams. Like Nebraska couldn't go to the Holiday Bowl.
Okay.
So the existing, like the Alamo Bowl is a Pac-12 bowl.
Okay.
And Nebraska couldn't go to that. Sean cannot read. Yes, I have sometimes hard time reading some of the
Sean cannot read. That's funny.
Happy for Ty Robinson. I'm sure he will make a great. I can't read that.
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
After the NFL. See you guys in New
I
York
don't think
City.
we'll see you in New York City, though, because I don't think they'll go to the Pinstripe.
No, I'm putting my chip on Michigan to the Pinstripe.
Okay. Your chip, not Rutgers.
Well, Rutgers went last year and they played Miami there.
You're right. They won't go back to back.
I don't think Rutgers will go there.
You're right. You're right.
So I don't know. I think Michigan to the Pinstripe, maybe Minnesota.
Yeah. But the reason Nebraska plays itself out of it is because it's incredible fan base. I mean, they're going to travel. This game was so important for so many reasons, and there's another one.
Tampa, Nashville, Phoenix.
Yeah, if I'm one of those bowl games, there's absolutely no way I let Nebraska go to New York City or anything like that. Like that's a gold mine you're sitting on.
Tampa, Nashville, Phoenix.
TV ratings,
30,000
ticket
Nebraska
sales,
fans.
Everything. Like,
yeah, it's very common sense conversation.
Nebraska's the golden goose out there right now.
It's a common sense conversation, and I'm going to keep saying it. Holgorsen adds to the intrigue. He really does.
And a win over Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, if they win over Iowa and go somewhere good, you could have 40,000 people go. I mean, I'm not kidding.
No, I know you're not.
And the Tampa Bowl is an easy ticket. Like, it's a big stadium, and Iowa has rarely filled that place up. I mean, Tyler, I wanted to cry, but I was happy to domination from now on. You guys give it the special teams today. Field goals on the money. Huge, huge, huge. Thank you, Tyler. TJC. Let's go. How many margaritas is Sipple going to drink
I'm
tonight?
not drinking margs tonight. I'm drinking Zipline.
Yep.
And they're
Cool,
good. They taste, these taste really good to me.
Oh, the Zip Lights? Yeah, they're money.
These are good.
Swill Myth. Think about all the recruits that got this epic Memorial Stadium. Great point there. A lot of recruits are here tonight. And Brian Munson will have full updates tomorrow.
Munson is a machine.
He is a machine. This is where like his like home run path is. It's just like the Sunday after a game, after a big recruiting weekend, dude grinds like no other.
Benji. Last time we made a bowl, I was 18. Now I have 2 kids, and I can show them what winning Husker football looks like. Go Big Red. I'm going to guess my daughters might go on the bowl trip with us here. So
that'd be great.
We'll put them to work.
Behave.
All right. Kenny.
Look at Hole.
1 million fans donate a small amount of $20 once a year to 1890. Imagine what can be done as a fan base.
Look at Hole getting ready to crank.
Hey, there's a reason 1890 put out a tweet like as soon as that game went finals. Like,
Did
we
they?
want to keep the momentum going. Head to 1890.
Look at your boy
Nebraska.
Dana.
Yep. He knows what he's doing with that play sheet right there.
Alex, joining late from the volleyball game. Been a while since there's been a better 24 hours of being a Husker sports fan between basketball, football, and volleyball. Sweeping Wisconsin.
Let's go. How about that guy right there, Dylan? Dylan found a groove today.
And he left
That's
some
good.
meat on the bone still. That's what's scary.
Well, I mean, I don't know that he did. I mean, the receivers dropping
placed
balls.
the ball in his receiver's hands in the end zone, and they dropped.
Now again, Banks though and Nate are good games. They
did.
They were good.
What a step forward for Banks.
Yeah,
not just with his catch. So what did he have? He had 4 catches, 52 yards, and a touchdown. But his blocking, like there's been no one that has been hammered more for poor perimeter blocking than Jamal Banks. In the last 2 games, he's been really good.
Holgorsen got to him.
Did
Naor.
challenged him.
What was Naor's numbers today?
4 for 22.
Okay, that's all right. He made some.
A long of 8.
All right, Spencer, this is a great win. I believe Holgerson enjoys being an OC now, and a head coach would be a headache. Sorry, I'm having a hard
That's
time
all
reading.
right. No, would have be a headache.
It's not the zip lines talking.
No. I think we've talked about it. It's a comfortable situation here. Like he's going to make, I mean, the money is, again, not a conversation that they're having right now. But then you look at Dylan. You have the ability to have
Dylan's
a
big.
year two Dylan
Yeah.
to not just like work with, but recruit towards.
In the portal, guys.
Yes.
Don't underestimate what a strong finish is
Yes.
going to do in the portal,
Yes.
because the momentum will raise money and the NIL will be a lot more aggressive.
Do you see this win? Like, I don't know. We've went through about 7 reasons this win is big beyond the bowl and beyond the 10-game losing streak to Wisconsin being snapped. This win was big for a lot of reasons, not just the 2 big ones. There's 2 big ones, but then there's about 5 right after that where you're like, oh, yeah, that's big too. 1890, putting that tweet out. It's big. Momentum.
Cody Stevens has a super chat and a comment here. Got to win at least one more. 6 and 7 season will not look good going into the offseason. Good point. You don't want to lose to Iowa and then lose the bowl.
Nope.
Yeah, your step forward is still ultimately a sub 500 year.
Yeah, just selfishly, we're in the grind. We're in that grind part of the season, but now this week is more fun. Like a loss this week would not be
the
fun.
tension.
Yeah, it'd be really job. It'd really feel like a job.
How important is this game to get the bowl eligibility? I mean, just like those questions.
Yeah, and now it's kind of fun. You look at it and say, if they respond right, they'll have a great chance to win, and it'll be a fun trip.
Chris Herring, does this generate a lot more momentum going into signing week with potential flips, or do you think that most recruits have made their mind up? Look, you're talking about Cortez Mills. You're talking about Michael Terry, Chase Lofton. Those 3, and NIL is a huge component. So to get those players, obviously the NIL piece has to be there. If you're going against Texas,
this Holgerson
going against Oklahoma.
Does Dana Holgerson have to be there? Dylan's there. And again, the picture was important today because you can show Michael Terry and Cortez Mills and Lofton. Yep. Here's what it looks like.
We got to figure it out.
Yep.
Okay, let's move through. We're almost done with super chats here, guys. Ross, thank you very much. Robert comes in. OU bowl game. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh, yes, it would. Oh, boy, that would be
incredible.
Yeah.
Ross, sorry if I missed it. Did Fedoni get benched?
Not benched.
Yeah, he played.
He played a few reps, but
he played.
But not much.
And what they were doing, he was not a part of like the key plays, though.
And again, you got to think it comes down to blocking.
Yeah, we don't know for sure. He could be injured a little bit. Could be being banged up, but I don't know. But it could be blocked.
Borkature was the guy, followed by Lindenmeyer.
Borkature, I can't believe that Borkature would have ever been that far behind him. Borkature's a good player.
He was battling some bumps and bruises, I think.
Okay.
Adam Holgerson, what are the odds that he is the OC in 25? White, what are the odds he's the DC in 25? I mean, I think today you have to say they're favorable on both. Favorable.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see White having very many options on the table at this point.
He's got to get some stuff straightened out.
Just gave up 400 yards to the 91st ranked offense in the country.
Right. We've glossed over that a little bit because the day is so important from a win standpoint. But for the last 3 games, the defense hasn't been very good. It was really good at Ohio State. So some of this is a little confusing, right?
Yep.
It's a little confusing. Remember what they did against the run against Ohio State? Shut those guys down.
Yeah.
They're not. I don't quite. Woody Marks, they didn't shut him down. They didn't shut the run. They didn't totally shut the run down today.
And today they didn't. Well, they only allowed 2 runs of 10+ yards.
Okay, that's good.
And they only allowed 3.4 yards on average on 14 first down runs.
Okay, that's good.
So they had some moments, and they won those short yardage. The third quarter 4th down stuff was huge.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
they're so good in that usually.
Yeah, on 4th down success.
I mean, they dominated Ohio State in those situations.
Incredible. Short yardage situations. This is a very good defense.
Kodiak Bear. I just got home from Ottawa, Iowa.
Hit
the casinos, baby.
It's
now time to paint the state, right? We used to go to, remember, before the boat, it was Casino Omaha in Ottawa, Iowa. And you could be back in the day, you could be 18 and gamble up there.
Oh, okay.
We used to go up there.
South though.
I'd go up there with like $40
And come home with
nothing. Usually.
There's the big horse right there, Dylan.
Scott Stotts, Iowa win or a bowl win. Which would you rather have? Get the
Iowa.
Get the Iowa win.
Iowa.
Because if they win against Iowa, they're going to play a good team in a bowl game. Yeah. I mean, think about this. You could play Ole Miss.
You keep saying it.
You could play A&M. You could play Oklahoma. I mean, you could play somebody.
It would be a little bit lower than Ole Miss. And
so in the SEC, after the playoff, the bowl game in Orlando and the bowl game in Tampa get their two next best teams.
Oh, okay. You're right then. Yeah.
They're going to get somebody pretty good.
You're right, Sean.
Like they're going to get the fifth or
I
sixth.
should never question Sean on stuff.
So if you're talking about the Tampa Bowl, you're getting like the sixth SEC team.
Pretty good.
That's going to be somebody good.
Yeah.
They might have a lot of opt-outs though.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
God, opt-outs.
Yep.
And Nebraska won't have a lot of opt-outs.
No, they're positioned well for bowl success.
B.D. Erickson, going into the season, the most important games to me were Iowa and Colorado and Wisconsin. A winning season with those 3 wins and both trophies is huge for me. Love you guys.
B.D. Erickson, you know what? We benefit a lot from this.
Mm-hmm.
What a great point that would be. That is. If you have wins against Iowa, Colorado, and Wisconsin, that means a lot.
You said to somebody, hey, you're going to go 7-5, but you're going to be Iowa, Colorado, and Wisconsin.
You take down a Buffalo, a Badger, and a Hawkeye.
And you're going to end a bowl drought. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Now, okay, here's what I'd say to that. 7-5 is 7-5. It's not great, but if you could tack on a bowl win with that,
a bowl win,
and get to 8
and
with those
wins.
Yeah, okay.
Demon Gaming took my son to his first game today. Great moment, and hopefully, let's see. I lost.
Turning point for the program.
Sorry, another super chat came in. I lost my next few seasons could be special. Thank you, Demon Gaming.
I like all the personal vignettes.
Yes. And again, it goes back to Sean made a great point. Like this Nebraska football is so much more than what happens on the field and just the meaning.
Oh, yeah.
This program has to the entire state and the people and all the personal connections they have to Nebraska football beyond just the X's and O's in the game, but just the whole experience of Nebraska football. I mean, guys proposing to their girlfriends and guys bringing their kids, finding out they're going to be a dad. Like this is the stuff that like I think gets lost in the conversation of like Nebraska football and the meaning of them getting relevant again and having success again. Like it's just the ripple effects are endless.
Kent Dodson,
great photos, by the way.
These are from Casey Fritton.
Casey Fritton does an incredible job.
Casey's the daddy.
I mean, I'm enjoying doing this show and looking at these photos.
He got some good Dana ones.
He did.
Like I will say, we have probably the best collection of Dana Holgerson photos. And
I mean, look at that photo right there. That's art. Look at that. The way that's Harburg. The way he's holding the ball. It's beautiful.
Casey's as good as there is.
Look at Harburg. God bless America.
Kent Dotson. We need to find other players or other plays than run plays for Harburg.
Yeah, when are they going to throw out of that?
Opponents know when he's in.
Maybe they're saving it for Iowa. I don't know.
Hey. Harburg can drive the ball down the field.
Let him loose.
Yeah. I'm with his arm, Sean. I'm talking about with his arm.
Yeah.
He can drive the ball.
I'm just saying you've put like 25 plays on film of him just keeping the ball whenever he's in the game.
Iowa.
It's going to pop.
Iowa.
It's going to pop.
Here we go.
All right, 2 more. Big Ten Network reported that our offense had 0 negative yardage plays.
Yeah, until the kneel downs. Like those are the only negative plays.
Offensive line. Hey, boys.
So no sacks, 1 hurry, no tackles for loss, and no negative plays until a team kneel down. The best negative play in football.
Donovan Raiola's 2 best games here, maybe the last 2.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Final super chat. Ready to get your tan on at the bowl game,
yes,
Sip?
I am.
I went
really
to
am.
Hawaii with you, Sip, this year.
Yeah, that was fun too. But a bowl trip, an extended bowl trip, I am ready to get.
I want to go. Okay, for the record, I'd like to go to Tampa.
Yes,
you and Rob both. For the record,
now Nashville would be a blast.
What about off the record? Where'd you like to go?
Phoenix is like my least.
Why is that?
December 26th.
Yeah, it's the date.
I like you, but I don't want to be with you on Christmas.
We can be together. We
did spend Christmas together in San Antonio in 2003. Remember that?
We did. God dang it. Didn't we go to
You let me
Denny's?
stay in your room for a few nights. Remember that?
All right, TMI.
Didn't we go to Denny's one night?
Yeah, we saw Jeff Smoker at Denny's.
Jeff Smoker, the Michigan State quarterback, freaked me out. He was at Denny's.
Incognito.
I don't
threw
know
a
why.
chair across the banquet room of that dinner. We weren't at the team outing, but it got pretty heated.
It got heated. Those were the days. See, now, Rob, we're going back.
Yeah, it's some
And we'll
wild
have
bull
bull
stories.
stories
It's some
again.
wild bull stories.
Yeah.
Players going out, having fun.
Yeah.
Media going out, having fun.
Just guys being dudes.
Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun.
Oh, it has. And you know what? You didn't know for sure either, right? We
Was
didn't
it-
know going into this day.
No.
Wasn't
We
filled
all
with
picked
confidence.
Nebraska, but it wasn't with like great confidence
No.
because
It was kind of one of those like, if it's going to happen, it's going to be today. That was my.
And now I'm
feeling.
telling you, the biggest takeaway is 44 points.
Mhm. They got a
40. They put 44 on Wisconsin.
they got some mojo on offense for the first
Yep.
time in a long time.
That was nice.
all right. Well,
Could have been
thanks.
50.
Thanks again for joining us on Husker Online Postgame Live. We stayed on extra, but tonight was special. Lots of great comments. Thank you for your comments. Thanks again to all of our sponsors, and thanks again to Zipline, our official postgame beverage sponsor of the Husker Online Postgame Live show. For Stephen M. Sipple, Robin Washington, I'm Sean Callahan signing off. Thanks for joining us.